Hello, YouTube. I was bored today. It's Sunday and I didn't have a lot of plans for the day. And so instead of couch rotting like a normal person and scrolling on my phone, I decided to throw an afternoon tea party for my American Girl dolls. And it is now 5 hours later and I'm a hot mess. I am exhausted. I can't believe I just did that. It was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, but I did film it. And before you say, this girl is crazy, I already know that. And secondly, my husband and my kids did eat all of the food that I made. So it didn't all go to waste. But if you are interested in watching me make scones and tea sandwiches and a nice tea for my American Girl dolls, then by all means, keep watching. So the first thing I am making is lemon curd. I'm going to be making some lemon blueberry scones, and so I want to serve them with lemon curd and blueberry jam. I got this recipe from the Preppy Kitchen, and I will link it below because it turned out really good. I have never made lemon curd from scratch before, and I was surprised at how delicious it was, and not that hard to make. So right now I am separating 6 egg yolks, and you'll see that I have 2 bowls, one with the yolks, 6 egg yolks, and then one with the egg whites, which I'm just saving for later in case I can use it for something else. Next, I am going to be zesting 3 lemons. Juicing 3 lemons. I've already zested them for the scones, and now I'm just going to be juicing them because I'm using the juice for the lemon curd. And I'm just pouring the juice into a bowl. I'm not too worried about the pips going in because I can always just strain that out later. So that is the juice of 3 lemons. Now in a saucepan, I'm putting in my 6 egg yolks. Just giving that a little bit of a whisk. And now I'm adding a cup of sugar. And then I'm going to whisk that in as well. Keep in mind, I haven't actually turned the stove on yet. This is just in the saucepan, no heat. And as I'm whisking, the egg yolks will start to get a little bit lighter because of the sugar. Okay, so now I'm adding in the lemon juice from the 3 lemons, and as you can see, I poured it through a tea strainer just to catch any pips. Now I did turn the stove on very low heat, and now I'm just stirring this mixture with a wooden spoon, and you pretty much have to keep stirring it the whole time that it's on the heat, and just wait for the mixture to thicken and bubble up a little bit. So while that is on the stove under very low heat, I am just chopping up some cold butter. This is refrigerated butter, 1 stick. And now I've just put once the lemon mixture had thickened, I put the butter in, took it off the heat, and just let it melt in. And that's really it. I'm just straining this mixture into a mason jar, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator to thicken up some more. So really the main thing to remember with the lemon curd is just to keep stirring it when it's on the stove, otherwise your eggs are going to scramble. But that is the lemon curd, and I'm just going to put that in the fridge. Now I'm going to make lemon blueberry scones. That is 2 cups of flour. And then I added 6 tablespoons of sugar. I do have to say this recipe was more complicated than I anticipated. This is, I think I put in 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder and half a teaspoon of salt. And now I'm adding some lemon zest. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So I used those same 3 lemons, I zested them and used the zest in the scones, and I used the juice in the lemon curd. So that is all of the dry ingredients, and I'm just whisking them together. Now I'm adding a stick of butter. This is butter that was in the freezer. I had this in the freezer for about an hour. So it was really, really hard butter. As you can see, I'm almost like grating it. Like it was really tough to chop up. But that's because I'm making essentially a pastry dough. So you want really, really cold butter. And it's 1 stick of butter or half a cup of butter. Putting that into the flour mixture, and then I used a pastry cutter to kind of like work that into the flour mixture. Once I'm done with this, I'm actually going to put it in the fridge for a little bit, just so the butter doesn't get warm. As you can see, I started using my hands at the end because it just really needed to be mixed in. Okay, so I put that in the fridge, and now I'm doing the wet part of the dough. So it's half a cup of heavy cream. And then I added 1 egg. This is both the yolk and the white, so just 1 whole egg. And now I'm adding, I think it was 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then I'm just whisking all of that together with a hand mixer. Now I took my dry ingredients back out of the fridge, and I'm pouring the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients to make the dough for the scones. And I'm adding a whole cup of blueberries. And just mixing that together with a wooden spoon. I would be a little bit careful here because you don't want to like squish your blueberries and get blueberry juice everywhere. That still ended up happening a little bit, but just be careful. Now I am rolling out the dough, which was really tricky because it is very sticky. And even though I floured it and I put flour on the like parchment paper, I still had to like use like plastic wrap, like cling wrap, to roll it out. So that's just a good trick, is to put some cling wrap on top of the dough if it's really sticky. So I'm just rolling it out into like a circle about a little under an inch thick, and then I'm cutting it like I would a pizza. Just cutting it into 8 pieces. And then I am just putting those wedges onto a baking sheet. While I was doing this, I did preheat my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So once I have all of these on the baking sheet, I'm actually going to put the baking sheet back in the fridge for another 15 minutes before I put them in the oven. Okay, they've been in the fridge for a little bit. The oven is heated up, and I'm just putting my scones in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 22 to 25 minutes. And in my case, it ended up taking 25 minutes because you want them to be brown. So there they are. I will be the first to admit they don't look like much. I was a little disappointed that they weren't more aesthetic, but they did taste very good. Next, I'm going to make cucumber mint sandwiches. I'm making two kinds of tea sandwiches today, cucumber mint and then just a tuna salad sandwich. I just wanted to use what I had around the house. So these are really simple. It's just going to be sliced cucumbers with some cream cheese and mint on white bread. So really straightforward. I didn't, use a recipe or anything. I just used what I had at home. Just plain cream cheese. You can use whatever you want. Some people make these also just with butter, like buttered bread and cucumbers, maybe a little salt. Honestly, I just feel like cucumber sandwiches always taste good no matter how you make them. There are lots of different options for tea sandwiches. You can do egg salad. You can do, people do like turkey and cheese sandwiches. Whatever you like. I just had some fresh mint leaves, so I put those just to give a little flavor. You could also use dill. Dill and cucumber would be really good too. So I think I made like 6 of those, and then I just started to cut off the crust. Because one thing about tea sandwiches, they have to be cute and dainty. I will say that I kind of felt bad cutting off so much of the sandwich. It kind of felt wasteful, but that's what you do with tea sandwiches. And then I cut them into kind of long, like rectangles, like skinny rectangles. And there they are. Next, I made tuna salad sandwiches, just really, really basic recipe, canned tuna, mayonnaise, which I didn't measure, I just eyeballed it. Salt and pepper for sure. These are Cornichon pickles. I just wanted to add something crunchy to the tuna salad and something a little bit acidic. You could also use celery if you're not into pickles. It's just nice to have something crunchy in there. And I'm just assembling the sandwiches here. I used a whole grain bread for this one. Looking back, I wish I had used like a thicker bread. This was like a thin sliced bread, and it got really soggy from the tuna salad. And so like once I cut up the sandwiches, it felt like the bread was kind of disintegrating. So just like Lesson learned, in the future, if I do tuna salad tea sandwiches, I'm going to use a really thick bread, or I'm going to like maybe toast the bread just so it like holds up a little bit better. Because tuna salad can be kind of wet. I cut these into triangles. And then I went over to my local bakery and I bought some, what did I buy? I can't remember what I bought. Lemon bars. Yes, I bought lemon bars. I got distracted looking at this video because there were so many delicious cakes. And look at their fruit tarts. They make amazing like fruit tarts and pies. But all I ended up getting was some lemon bars because I thought that would go well with the lemon blueberry scones. Okay, and now finally I get to do my favorite part, which is to set the table. I got this tablecloth a while ago. It's like block print. It's an Indian block print tablecloth in 100% cotton. It's got this beautiful like rose block print on it, and I thought it would go really nicely with the vintage rose like tea set that I have. So this is my 3-tiered tea tray that is vintage Syracuse china, and I have like a whole matching set with lunch plates and teacups and saucers, and I also have the milk and sugar set from them, and I pieced them together from various like online places because Syracuse china doesn't exist anymore. I don't think they've existed since the 1970s, but they were based out of Syracuse, New York, and they made fine china from like, I want to say they were around from maybe the 1930s to the 1970s, and you can buy their stuff for relatively cheap. If you are interested, I actually did a whole video about my vintage tea set that I will try to link above if you want a deep dive on that. But here's the table. I have some pink linen napkins, beautiful lunch plate, Syracuse china with the pink roses, the matching teacup and saucer, and I have a little tea strainer up top because I'm going to be making loose tea. And the 3-tiered cake stand. I also have this super cute vintage silver plated, it's like I think it's called a jam and clotted cream server. And so I'm going to use this to serve my lemon curd, and I'm also going to serve some just store-bought blueberry jam. And I think that is such a cute way to serve like little jams and things for an afternoon tea. You could also use it like for a really fancy breakfast or brunch if you wanted to put little jams in there. I think that's just so cute. And it comes with those really cute, dainty little spoons as well. So it's just a really cute set. And these are my matching like milk and sugar pot from Syracuse china. And I have little sugar cubes in there and a cute little pair of tongs for picking up the sugar cubes. This is my Emma Bridgewater rose teapot. I did a whole video when I bought this because I love it so much. So I'm going to be using that today along with Harney & Sons Viennese Earl Grey. If you are going to be throwing an afternoon tea, I really highly recommend that you use loose tea and not tea bags. It really does make a difference. It's more elegant, but it also just tastes better. Usually the quality of loose tea is better than the tea that they put in tea bags. So it really does make a difference. I am putting in 5 teaspoons of tea into the pot. It is a 4-cup teapot. And the rule of thumb is you always want to put in 1 extra teaspoon. So if you're making 4 cups of tea, you want to use 5 teaspoons of loose tea. And just adding the boiling water. You want to make sure your water is really hot and boiling, not tepid. And of course, you want to let it steep for a couple of minutes before pouring out. And that's it. I am exhausted and I still haven't cleaned up from the tea party, which means I have to hand wash all of this vintage china now. I don't know when I'm going to upload this video because it's probably going to take me a whole day to edit it, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I am starting to understand why people stopped having afternoon teas right around the same time that people stopped having butlers. It really is a lot of work for some sandwiches and a cup of tea. That being said, it is a very elegant tradition and something fun to do for a bridal shower or birthday party or just for your dolls. Thanks so much for watching,